A simple act of kindness can change everything. When Maya Johnson, a struggling single mother working 2 jobs to pay for her daughter's life-saving surgery, serves a late-night customer at the Silicon Diner, she has no idea he's Elon Musk. She doesn't recognize the world's richest man. She just sees someone who needs a warm meal and a friendly smile. But her genuine compassion costs her job, sending her life into chaos. Little does Maya know, losing her job is just the beginning of a journey that will test her character, challenge her values, and ultimately reveal that sometimes the biggest dreams start with the smallest gestures, like a perfectly made grilled cheese sandwich. Maya Johnson's feet ached as she pushed through the gleaming glass doors of the Silicon Diner. The morning sun hadn't even peeked over Austin's skyline, but she was already on her second cup of coffee. Her black work shoes, bought on clearance 3 months ago, squeaked against the freshly mopped floor as she made her way to the employees' locker room. "Morning, Miss Maya," called out Jerome, the elderly janitor who always had a smile for everyone. "You're early again." "Morning, Jerome," Maya replied, managing a tired smile. "Gotta catch up on some paperwork before my shift." What she didn't say was that she'd been up since 4 a.m., working her first job stocking shelves at the local grocery store. In the locker room, Maya pulled out her neatly pressed black uniform and white apron. Her fingers brushed against a crayon drawing tucked into her locker door, a bright, hopeful picture of 2 stick figures holding hands under a rainbow. Zoe, her 8-year-old daughter, had drawn it last week during one of her better days at the hospital. Maya's throat tightened as she thought about Zoe's upcoming surgery. The doctors said it was essential, but even with insurance, the bills were overwhelming. She'd already sold her car, moved to a smaller apartment, and picked up every extra shift she could get her hands on. Still, it wasn't enough. As she tied her apron, Maya checked her reflection in the small magnetic mirror on her locker door. Dark circles lurked under her brown eyes, but she'd gotten good at covering them with concealer. Her black hair was pulled back in a neat bun, not a strand out of place. In this upscale diner, appearance mattered almost as much as service. The Silicon Diner wasn't just any restaurant. Situated in Austin's booming tech district, it attracted everyone from startup founders to established tech executives. The tips could be amazing if you were lucky enough to serve the right tables. Maya had seen servers receive $1,000 tips from celebrating entrepreneurs, but she'd also witnessed plenty of wealthy customers who didn't tip at all. "Maya," Sarah, another waitress, burst into the locker room. "Did you hear? Tech World just announced another round of layoffs. We might get some goodbye lunches today." Maya nodded, but her heart sank. Goodbye lunches meant desperate people spending their last paychecks on overpriced comfort food. She hated those days. They reminded her too much of her own precarious situation. The morning rush started exactly at 7:30 a.m. Maya moved between tables with practiced efficiency, balancing plates of artisanal avocado toast and farm-to-table omelets. Her regulars appreciated her quiet competence and genuine smile. She remembered their usual orders, their food allergies, and which ones needed their coffee cups refilled without asking. "Order up for table 12, called Roberto from the kitchen. Maya grabbed the plates, a stack of blueberry pancakes and a side of turkey bacon. As she served the young couple at table 12, she noticed the woman's engagement ring catching the morning light. "Congratulations," Maya said warmly, noting their intertwined hands on the table. The woman beamed. "How did you know?" "Just a feeling," Maya replied, arranging their plates. "Plus, you both have that special glow about you." The couple's happiness was contagious, and for a moment, Maya forgot about her own worries. During her break, Maya sat in the back office, poring over hospital bills and insurance paperwork. The numbers blurred together, but one figure stood out clearly: $75,000. That's what they needed for Zoe's surgery and post-operative care. Even with her 2 jobs and careful budgeting, she was nowhere near that amount. Her phone buzzed with a text from Mrs. Martinez, their elderly neighbor who watched Zoe when Maya worked. "She's doing okay, ate all her breakfast and took her medicine. Don't worry too much, Mia." Maya texted back a quick thank you, blinking back tears. Mrs. Martinez was a blessing, charging far less than any daycare would and treating Zoe like her own granddaughter. Still, Maya hated being away from her daughter so much, especially now. The lunch rush brought its usual chaos. Maya moved on autopilot, taking orders, delivering food, refilling drinks. Her feet had gone from aching to numb, but she didn't slow down. Every tip brought her a tiny bit closer to that impossible number, $75,000. Table 15 needs more napkins. Where's my gluten-free toast? Can I get this salad with dressing on the side? The requests blended together into a familiar rhythm. Maya handled each one with grace, never letting her smile slip. The Silicon Diner manager, Mr. Phillips, watched from his corner office, making notes on his tablet. He'd already warned several servers about their attitude problems this week. Maya couldn't risk getting on his bad side, not when Zoe's surgery was just 2 months away. During a rare quiet moment, Maya checked her phone again. 3 missed calls from the hospital billing department. Her stomach clenched, but she forced herself to focus on her next table. She couldn't afford to get distracted, not when every tip mattered. As the afternoon sun streamed through the diner's wide windows, Maya caught her reflection in the chrome coffee machine. Her mother's words echoed in her memory. "Stand tall, baby girl. No matter what life throws at you, stand tall." Her mom had worked as a waitress too, raising Maya alone after her father left. Now, here was Maya, following the same path, trying to give Zoe a better life. The day continued its relentless pace. Maya served executives in $1,000 suits and programmers in hoodies and flip-flops. She memorized complicated coffee orders and dietary restrictions. She cleaned up spills and smoothed over kitchen mistakes. Through it all, she kept moving, kept smiling, kept hoping. At 4:30 p.m., Maya's first shift ended, but her day wasn't over. She had 3 hours before her evening shift started at the grocery store. Just enough time to visit Zoe at home, help with homework, and make dinner. Then Mrs. Martinez would watch Zoe until bedtime. As Maya hung up her apron, Sarah caught her arm. "We're all going out for drinks later. You should come. You never join us." Maya shook her head. "Can't tonight, but thanks for asking." She didn't mention that she hadn't been out for drinks in months, that every spare dollar went into the surgery fund. Walking toward the bus stop, Maya calculated her tips for the day. $142 towards $50. Not bad, but not great either. At this rate, it would take years to save enough for Zoe's surgery. The doctors said they didn't have years. The evening bus was crowded with tired workers heading home. Maya stood, holding the overhead rail, and closed her eyes for a moment. Tomorrow would be another day, just like this one. Another day of serving others while trying to save her daughter's life. Another day of keeping her smile bright while her worries ate at her. But as the bus turned onto her street, Maya straightened her shoulders. She would walk through her apartment door with a smile, because Zoe would be waiting. Her beautiful, brave girl who never complained about being sick, who still drew pictures full of rainbows and hope. Just another day. But maybe tomorrow would be different. Maybe tomorrow would bring the miracle they needed. Maya couldn't know that tomorrow would change everything, starting with a late-night customer in a simple black t-shirt who would turn her world upside down. The next evening started like any other at the Silicon Diner. Maya's muscles were extra sore from her morning grocery store shift, where she'd had to unload 3 trucks instead of the usual 2. But she couldn't complain. The overtime would help with Zoe's medical bills. "Mommy, can you help me with my science project tomorrow?" Zoe had asked earlier that day, light, her small face hopeful despite the dark circles under her eyes. "We're learning about rock pockets in space." "Of course, baby," Maya had promised, even though she knew she'd have to sacrifice precious sleep to keep that promise. Seeing Zoe's eyes light up made it worth it. Now, as the clock ticked past 10 p.m., Maya wiped down tables and tried not to think about how she'd managed to help with rockets and space before her 4 a.m. shift. The diner was nearly empty, just a few tech workers hunched over laptops in corners, nursing cold coffee. The bell above the door chimed. "We're closing in an hour," announced Trevor, the evening host, without looking up from his phone. Maya glanced toward the door and saw a tall man in a simple black t-shirt and jeans standing there, looking utterly exhausted. "Table for one?" he said quietly, his accent unusual but not quite foreign. Trevor sighed dramatically. "Fine, sit wherever." He went back to scrolling on his phone. The man chose a booth in Maya's section, the one furthest from the windows. As she Approached with a menu, she noticed his distracted expression and the way his shoulders slumped forward. She recognized that look. It was the same one she saw in her mirror on the hardest days. "Rough day?" Maya asked gently, setting down the menu. He looked up, surprised by the question. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, and his hair was disheveled as if he'd been running his hands through it all day. "You could say that," he said, attempting to solve impossible problems with impossible deadlines. Maya smiled sympathetically. "Sounds like you need some comfort food. Our kitchen's about to close, but I know just the thing if you trust me." He studied her for a moment, then nodded. "Sure, why not?" Maya hurried to the kitchen where Roberto was already cleaning up. "One last order, please." "I'll help clean afterward," Maya said. Roberto looked at the clock and frowned. "Maya, you know Phillips gets mad if we run the kitchen late." "It's my mom's special," Maya said, using her secret weapon. Berto had loved her mother's recipe ever since Maya had shared it during her first week. He softened. "Fine, but make it quick." Maya got to work, adding her own touches to the diner's standard grilled cheese. She used 3 types of cheese, added perfectly crispy bacon, and included her mother's secret ingredient, a thin layer of honey butter on the outside of the bread before grilling. While it cooked, she brewed a fresh pot of coffee and picked out the ripest banana from the fruit basket. When she brought the food to the mystery customer, his eyes widened slightly. "I didn't order this," he said. "Trust me," Maya said, setting down the grilled cheese, which oozed cheese and promised comfort with every bite. "My mom used to make this for me when I had impossible problems to solve. The bananas for potassium. You look like you haven't eaten properly all day." He took a bite and closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, there was a hint of a smile. "This is unexpected, in a good way." "The secret's in the honey butter," Maya confided, "makes everything better." As she turned to check on her other tables, he spoke again. Would you mind sitting for a moment, if you're not too busy?" Maya glanced around. The diner was almost empty now, and she'd already finished most of her closing tasks. "Sure, just for a minute." She slid into the booth across from him, noticing the way he seemed to relax slightly. Up close, there was something familiar about him, but she couldn't quite place it. "What kind of impossible problems are you dealing with?" she asked. He took another bite of the sandwich before answering. "Trying to make sustainable energy actually sustainable, trying to make space travel accessible, trying to solve hunger and poverty through innovation." He gave a self-deprecating laugh. "You know, small stuff." Maya thought of Zoe's excitement about rockets. "My daughter would love to hear about the space travel part. She's doing a project on rockets right now." His eyes lit up. "How old is she?" 8, Maya said, finding herself adding, "She's been in and out of the hospital a lot, but she never loses her curiosity. Everything amazes her, especially space." The man set down his sandwich, his full attention on Maya now. "That must be hard, as a parent." Maya's throat tightened. "It is, but she's worth every second of worry, every extra shift, every sleepless night." She stood quickly, not wanting to burden a stranger with her problems. "Can I get you anything else?" He shook his head, still watching her thoughtfully. "No, thank you. This was perfect." Maya went back to her closing duties, giving him space to finish his meal. She noticed he ate every crumb of the sandwich and even the banana, which made her smile. Sometimes people just needed a little caring attention and good food. When she brought his check, he was typing rapidly on his phone. He handed her his credit card without looking at the bill. Maya processed it quickly, not wanting to delay him further. As she returned with the receipt, Finally, he looked up from his phone and gasped. Maya turned to see what had startled him and froze. There, on the screen of Trevor's phone, was a photo of her customer, Elon Musk, at a recent tech conference. Maya's hands trembled as she set down the receipt. Now she knew why he had seemed familiar. She had just served a late-night grilled cheese to one of the richest men in the world. But before she could say anything, Mr. Phillips burst out of his office. "Maya, my office now." She glanced back at her customer, Elon Musk, but he was focused on his phone again. Taking a deep breath, Maya followed her manager into his office. Mr. Phillips closed the door with a sharp click. His face was red, and he was clutching his tablet like a weapon. "Would you care to explain what you were doing out there?" I was serving a customer," Maya's voice came out smaller than she intended. Oh, is that what you call it? Sitting and chatting while other customers waited? Keeping the kitchen open late? Making up your own menu items without authorization? Sir, Do you know how many complaints I've had about you tonight? 3. 3 customers said you were neglecting them to socialize with some scruffy guy in a t-shirt. Maya's heart pounded. She needed this job. Zoe needed this job. Mr. Phillips, please, I made sure all my tables were taken care of. I helped with cleaning to make up for the late order. Enough. Mr. Phillips slammed his tablet down on the desk. This isn't the first time we've had issues with your creative approach to service. This is a high-end establishment, not some charity cafe where you can play therapist to every sad sack who walks in. Tears pricked at Maya's eyes, but she blinked them back. I understand, sir. It won't happen again. You're right, it won't. He pulled out a form from his desk drawer. Because you're fired. The words hit Maya like a physical blow. What? No, please clear out your locker. Your final check will be mailed to you. He turned his back, dismissing her. Maya stumbled out of the office, her mind spinning. How would she pay for Zoe's surgery now? How would she make rent? As she walked through the dining room, she noticed the mysterious customer, Elon Musk, was gone. Only an empty plate remained. Trevor smirked as she passed. Guess being nice doesn't pay after all. Maya changed out of her uniform with trembling hands. When she opened her locker, Zoe's rainbow drawing fluttered to the floor. She picked it up carefully, smoothing out the creases. Outside, rain had started to fall. Maya didn't have an umbrella. She'd lent hers to an elderly customer earlier that day. As she started her long walk home, her phone buzzed with unknown numbers calling. She ignored them, too heartbroken to deal with anything else tonight. She couldn't know that those calls were just the beginning. That by morning, her simple act of kindness would be seen by millions. That her life was about to change in ways she never could have imagined. But for now, she walked through the rain, a single mother with no job, a sick daughter, and a mountain of medical bills, wondering how something as simple as a grilled cheese sandwich had cost her everything. Maya's clothes were soaked through by the time she reached her apartment building. The elevator was broken again, so she climbed 5 flights of stairs, her wet shoes squeaking against the concrete steps. Her phone hadn't stopped buzzing, but she couldn't bring herself to answer. How would she tell Zoe that she'd lost her job? Mrs. Martinez was dozing in Maya's worn armchair, her knitting needles resting in her lap. She startled awake when Maya closed the door. Mija, you're home early and soaking wet. The elderly woman's smile faded as she saw Maya's face. What happened? Maya's voice cracked. I lost my job. Mrs. Martinez crossed herself. Dios mío, how? Why? Before Maya could answer, a small voice called from the bedroom. Mommy, is that you? Maya quickly wiped her eyes. Just a minute, baby. Let me change into dry clothes. She turned to Mrs. Martinez. Thank you for staying late. I'll figure out something for tomorrow. Nonsense, Mrs. Martinez said firmly. Zoe stays with me tomorrow. You focus on finding new work. She patted Maya's cheek. God never closes a door without opening a window. After Mrs. Martinez left, Maya changed into dry pajamas and went to Zoe's room. Her daughter was propped up in bed, surrounded by space books from the library. Even in the dim light, Maya could see the pallor of her skin, the way her collarbones stood out too sharply. You're home early. Zoe's smile lit up her whole face. Can you help me with my rocket project now? Maya sat on the edge of the bed, gathering her courage. Baby, we need to talk about something first. Zoe's smile faded. Is it about the surgery? Did something happen? No, nothing about that, Maya assured her quickly. It's just, I won't be working at the diner anymore. Did you find a better job? Zoe asked hopefully. Maya's heart squeezed. Not yet, but I will. Remember what we always say? Johnson women never give up. Zoe recited it, then yawned. Can we still do the rocket project? Of course. Maya reached for one of the books. Let's learn about space together. An hour later, Zoe was asleep, her space books scattered around her. Maya quietly gathered them up, pausing at a page about Mars colonization. She thought about her mysterious customer and his impossible problems. Had she really served grilled cheese to Elon Musk? It seemed like a dream now. In the kitchen, Maya finally checked her phone. 37 missed calls, dozens of text messages, hundreds of social media notifications. Her hands shook as she opened the first message. a link to a video. The security footage was grainy but clear enough. It showed her interaction with the mysterious customer from multiple angles. Someone had added captions, "Waitress shows extraordinary kindness to exhausted Elon Musk. Doesn't realize who he is." The video already had millions of views. Maya sank into a kitchen chair, her mind racing. No wonder Mr. Phillips had been so angry. The footage must have come from the diner security cameras, but who had leaked it and why? Her phone buzzed again. This time it was Sarah from the diner. "OMG, Maya, you're trending everywhere. That was really Elon Musk. Why didn't you say anything? The whole internet is in love with your grilled cheese story." Maya's head spun. This couldn't be happening. She just wanted to find another job, not become some viral sensation. What if this attention made it harder to get hired? What if it somehow affected Zoe? She opened her laptop, hoping to understand better what was happening. Her heart nearly stopped. The video had spawned hundreds of articles. Heartwarming moment, waitress shows pure kindness to unrecognized Elon Musk. The grilled cheese that's melting hearts across social media. Silicon Valley's latest sensation. A waitress's genuine care. The comments were overwhelming. This is what real customer service looks like. Can't believe they fired her for this. Someone needs to start a GoFundMe. Elon, hire this woman. Maya closed the laptop, her hands trembling. This wasn't what she wanted. She didn't need viral fame. She needed steady work to pay for Zoe's surgery. Fame wouldn't help with medical bills. A knock at the door made her jump. It was well past midnight. Who could be here at this hour? Through the peephole, she saw a man in a suit holding what looked like business cards. "Miss Johnson, I represent the Morningstar News Network. We'd love to have you on our morning show to tell your story." Maya backed away from the door. More knocks followed, more voices calling out offers and requests. She turned off all the lights and huddled on the couch, praying they wouldn't wake Zoe. Her phone buzzed with another message. This one was from her mother. "Baby girl, are you okay? Call me as soon as you can. I'm seeing you all over the news." Maya tried to call, but her phone died mid-ring. When she plugged it in, more notifications flooded the screen. Email after email from reporters, producers, podcast hosts, all wanting to hear her story. Around 3 a.m., the knocking finally stopped. Maya crept to Zoe's room and watched her daughter sleep, trying to find calm in her peaceful breathing. On Zoe's bedside table sat her piggy bank. They'd been saving spare change for ice cream after the surgery. Maya had promised everything would be okay. "I'll fix this," she whispered to her sleeping daughter. Somehow, dawn was breaking when Maya finally dozed off on the couch, still clutching her dead phone. She couldn't know that across town, multiple restaurant owners were having emergency meetings about her. She couldn't know that her viral moment had caught the attention of people far more powerful than local news stations. And she certainly couldn't know that the grilled cheese sandwich, her mother's special recipe, had set in motion a chain of events that would change not just her life, but the lives of countless others. A few hours later, Maya woke to more knocking, but this time it wasn't reporters at the door. It was her building manager, holding a stack of papers and looking nervous. "Miss Johnson, we need to talk about your lease. It seems we've had some complaints about all the media attention." Maya stared at Mr. Rodriguez, her building manager, trying to process his words through her exhaustion. "Complaints? I don't understand. I haven't done anything wrong." He shifted uncomfortably. "The news vans outside are blocking the parking lot. Reporters are buzzing random apartments trying to find you. Other tenants can't get in or out without being questioned. It's causing problems, Miss Johnson." From inside the apartment, Zoe called out, "Mommy, who's at the door?" "Just Mr. Rodriguez, sweetheart. I'll be right there." Maya turned back to the building manager. "Please, I just need a little time. This will all blow over soon." His expression softened slightly. "You have until the end of the week to figure something out." After that, he handed her the papers, an eviction notice. Maya closed the door and leaned against it, adding the notice to her growing pile of problems. Through the thin walls, she could hear reporters in the hallway knocking on her neighbors' doors. "Mommy." Zoe appeared in her doorway, looking pale and wobbly. "I don't feel so good." Maya rushed to her daughter, feeling her forehead. "You're burning up. Did you take your medicine this morning?" Zoe shook her head. "I tried, but my hands were shaking too much to open the bottle." Okay, baby, let's get you back to bed. Maya helped Zoe back to her room, trying to stay calm. They couldn't afford another hospital visit right now. While Zoe dozed fitfully, Maya checked her phone again. The notifications had only multiplied. Breaking, Silicon Valley's mystery waitress identity revealed. Exclusive, the true story behind the viral grilled cheese video. Tech world buzzes over heartwarming service industry moment. Her email inbox was flooded with interview requests, job offers, and messages from strangers. Some offered help. Others accused her of staging the whole thing for attention. One email caught her eye. It was from her old manager, Mr. Phillips. Due to the unprecedented situation and the negative attention the diner has received, we are willing to discuss your reinstatement. Maya deleted it without reading further. She couldn't go back there, not after everything. Her phone rang. Mrs. Martinez, Mija, there are reporters outside my apartment too. They're asking about Zoe's condition. How do they know about that? Maya's blood ran cold. Someone had leaked Zoe's medical information to the press. She quickly called the hospital, fighting through automated menus until she reached Dr. Lewis's office. Maya, the doctor said gravely, I was about to call you. We've had multiple media inquiries about Zoe's case. I want you to know we haven't released any information, but someone seems to have accessed her records. How is that possible? We're investigating, but Maya, listen. Zoe's surgery can't wait much longer. Have you made any progress with the funding? Maya looked at the eviction notice on her kitchen counter. I'm working on it. After hanging up, she checked on Zoe again. Her daughter was sleeping, clutching her favorite book about Mars. The sight brought tears to Maya's eyes. All this attention, all this chaos, and they were still no closer toward the surgery. Her phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. OMG, Maya, every restaurant in town is talking about you. The owner of Starlight Cafe wants to meet you. They're offering a manager position. Call me back. More messages followed, each one promising amazing opportunities. Head waitress position at the Golden Fork restaurant, consultant for a new chain, grand ambassador for a cooking equipment company, reality TV show guest judge. Maya's head spun. Why were all these offers coming now? Where were these opportunities when she was quietly doing her job, trying to save for Zoe's surgery? A knock at the door made her jump. Through the peephole, she saw a woman in an expensive suit holding a folder. Miss Johnson, I'm Amanda Chen from Silicon Valley Weekly. We'd like to offer you an exclusive interview. We're prepared to make it worth your while. Maya didn't respond. She'd learned that lesson already. Her laptop pinged with a new email notification. The subject line made her pause. Regarding your mother's grilled cheese recipe. The email was brief. Your kindness reminded me of my own mother. Sometimes the simplest gestures have the biggest impact. Check your mailbox in an hour. Could it really be from him? Maya's heart raced, but when she checked her mailbox an hour later, she found only more reporters' business cards and a final notice from the hospital's billing department. By evening, Zoe's fever had broken, but Maya's nerves were shot. She hadn't been able to look for new jobs because reporters followed her everywhere. She couldn't even get to the grocery store without being recognized. Her phone rang again, an unknown number, but with a California area code. Against her better judgment, she answered, Hello. Is this Maya Johnson? A professional-sounding woman spoke. I'm calling from Tesla's corporate office. We've been trying to reach you regarding an opportunity. Maya's breath caught. Yes, this is Maya. Excellent. We'd like to discuss a unique position with our company. Are you familiar with our corporate food service program? Before Maya could respond, her call waiting beeped. Another California number, then another and another. She ended the Tesla call and turned off her phone. Outside, she could hear news vans idling, reporters doing their evening broadcasts. How had her life spiraled so out of control in just 2 days? Zoe coughed from her bedroom, and Maya rushed to check on her. Her daughter was sitting up in bed, looking at her tablet. Mommy, why are you on YouTube, and why are people calling you the grilled cheese angel? Maya gently took the tablet. It's complicated, baby. How about we read your space book instead? But Mommy, look. Zoe took the tablet back and pointed to the view counter. Millions of people have seen you being nice to that man. Isn't that good? Maya stroked her daughter's hair. Sometimes good things can be complicated. After Zoe fell asleep, Maya sat at her kitchen table with a notepad, trying to make sense of everything. She needed proof, a new job. 2, a new apartment. 3, $75,000 for Zoe's surgery, a way to stop the media frenzy, a plan for tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. The pile of business cards and offers on her table promised solutions, but something felt off. Why were all these companies suddenly interested in her? What did they really want? Her laptop pinged again, another email with a California area code, but this one was different. The subject line read, "Shah, a test of character." Maya's finger hovered over the delete button, but something made her pause. The sender's address was scrambled, but the message was simple. The grilled cheese was just the beginning. Keep watching your mailbox. She looked out her window at the news van parked below, then at her sleeping daughter, then at the eviction notice on her counter. Whatever game was being played, she was somehow at the center of it, and she had a feeling things were about to get even more complicated. Maya woke to an unusual sound. Silence. The news vans that had been camped outside were gone. Even the constant buzz of her phone had stopped. She checked the device, wondering if it had died again, but no, there just weren't any new notifications. Maybe it's finally over, she whispered to herself. Then she opened her front door to get the newspaper and nearly tripped over a stack of envelopes. Not just any envelopes, but thick, expensive-looking ones with gold lettering and official seals. Each one contained a job offer, but these weren't like the random opportunities from yesterday. Dear Miss Johnson, the first one read, SpaceX Dining Services would be honored to have you join our executive team. We at Blue Origin believe your innovative approach to customer service aligns perfectly with our mission. Tesla's new sustainable restaurant initiative needs a leader with your unique vision. Maya's hands trembled as she read each offer. The salaries made her dizzy. Any one of them would more than cover Zoe's surgery, but something felt strange. Why would major tech companies fight over a waitress just because of one viral video? Mommy, Zoe called from her room. Can you help me get ready for school? Maya quickly hid the letters. Coming, baby, she said as she helped Zoe dress. Her daughter chatted excitedly. Jenny from class said she saw you on TV. She said you're famous now. Does this mean we can afford my operation? Maya's heart squeezed. We're working on it, sweetheart. How are you feeling today? Better. Zoe pointed to her tablet where a news article was displayed. They're calling you the space company's most wanted. That's funny because I love space. Before Maya could respond, her phone rang. This time, it was a local number she recognized, the Starlight Cafe. Miss Johnson, this is David Chen, owner of the Starlight Cafe. I know you've probably received many offers, but I'd like to meet with you personally today, if possible. Something in his voice sounded different from the other callers, more genuine, less rehearsed. Maya thought for a moment. She needed to start somewhere. I can meet at 10 a.m. after I take my daughter to school. The Starlight Cafe was exactly as she remembered from her visits as a child, a cozy family restaurant that had served Austin for 3 generations. Mr. Chen was waiting at a corner booth, a pot of tea already on the table. Thank you for coming, he said, pouring her a cup. I won't waste your time. I know you've probably gotten offers from bigger companies, but I want to be honest with you. We're not SpaceX or Tesla. We're just a family restaurant that believes in treating people right. Maya sipped her tea, surprised by his directness. I saw that video, he continued. Not just what you did for Elon Musk, but how you handled every customer that night. So that's the kind of service we believe in. I'm offering you the position of general manager with full benefits starting day 1. Maya's throat tightened. Benefits, including health insurance, full coverage for you and your daughter. I know about her condition. My own son had the same surgery 10 years ago. For the first time in days, Maya felt tears spring to her eyes. This was real. This was someone who understood. But before she could respond, the cafe's door chimed. A woman in a sharp business suit walked in, heading straight for their table. Maya Johnson, she said. I'm Sandra Torres from SpaceX. I hope I'm not interrupting, but we need to discuss our offer immediately. Another chime. A man in a Tesla polo shirt entered, then someone from Blue Origin. Within minutes, the small cafe was filled with representatives from major companies, all trying to outbid each other. We'll double their offer. Full relocation package to California, private school for your daughter. Stock options. Maya's head spun as the numbers kept climbing. Mr. Chen sat quietly, watching the chaos with a sad smile. "I understand if you need to take one of these offers," he said softly. "They can give you things we can't." Maya looked around at the corporate representatives with their tablets and contracts. Then she looked at Mr. Chen's weathered hands wrapped around his teacup, at the family photos on the cafe walls, at the worn but clean floors that reminded her of her mother's diner. Her phone buzzed, another email from the mysterious E. "Not all opportunities are what they seem. Choose wisely." Just then, a sealed envelope was delivered to the cafe. The return address was simply EM. Inside was a single sheet of paper with 2 words, "Trust yourself." Maya stood up, her decision made. But before she could speak, her phone rang. It was Mrs. Martinez. "Misha, come quickly." Zoe collapsed at school. The world seemed to freeze. Maya grabbed her purse, all thoughts of job offers forgotten as she rushed out. She heard the corporate representatives following, still trying to talk contracts and benefits. At the school, an ambulance was already loading Zoe onto a stretcher. Her daughter looked so small, so pale. "Mommy," Zoe whispered as Maya reached for her hand. "I'm sorry. I tried to be strong." "You are strong, baby. So strong." Maya climbed into the ambulance beside her daughter. As they drove away, she saw the corporate representatives standing in the school parking lot, watching. Only Mr. Chen had followed in his car, carrying a teddy bear from his cafe's prize shelf. At the hospital, Dr. Lewis was waiting. "The surgery can't wait any longer," she said gently. "We need to do it tomorrow." Maya looked at her unconscious daughter, then at all the business cards in her purse, then at the mysterious sealed letter still clutched in her hand. Something bigger was happening here. These job offers, the mysterious messages, the timing of it all, it couldn't be coincidence. But right now, none of that mattered. All that mattered was Zoe. She pulled out her phone to call Mr. Chen. His offer wasn't the biggest, but it was the only one that had felt real. Before she could dial, another email arrived. "Final test tomorrow. Be ready." Maya looked at her daughter's sleeping face and made a silent promise. Whatever game was being played, whatever test this was, she would pass it. For Zoe. She just wished she knew what she was being tested for. The hospital waiting room was quiet at 3 a.m. Maya sat alone, surrounded by coffee cups and wrinkled job offers. Zoe was finally stable, sleeping peacefully after a round of emergency treatments. Dr. Lewis had agreed to push the surgery to the day after tomorrow, giving Maya one more day to figure something out. Mr. Chen had stayed for hours, bringing food and coffee. The corporate representatives had all left, though their offers still stood. Each promised enough money for the surgery. But Maya couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right about them. Her phone buzzed with a new email. "Final test begins now. Car waiting outside. Your daughter will be safe." Maya looked out the window. A sleek black Tesla sat in the parking lot, its lights blinking once as if in greeting. She checked on Zoe one more time, spoke briefly with the night nurse, and then walked outside. The car's door opened automatically. Inside, a tablet sat on the leather seat, displaying a message. Sometimes the biggest problems were the simplest solutions. Take a ride. Maya thought about all the strange events of the past few days. The viral video, the competing job offers, the mysterious messages. Whatever this was, it ended tonight. She got in the car. The Tesla drove itself smoothly through Austin's empty streets. On the tablet, a new message appeared. "You've been part of an experiment, Maya. Not just about kindness, but about authentic leadership in an age of viral fame and instant celebrities. Tell me, why did you help a stranger that night?" Maya thought carefully before typing her response. "Because he needed help. That's all. The same reason I help anyone who needs it." The car turned onto a familiar street. Another message popped up. "Even when helping others cost you your job, your apartment, and nearly cost you your daughter's surgery." Maya typed, "Kindness isn't about cost and benefit, it's about being human." The car stopped in front of the Silicon Diner. Through the windows, Maya could see lights on and people moving inside. Last phase of the test, go inside. Maya walked to the door, her heart pounding. When she opened it, she froze. The diner had been transformed. Gone were the trendy decorations and overpriced menu items. Instead, warm lighting illuminated comfortable booths. A sign above the counter read Johnson's Family Diner. And there, sitting at her old booth, was Elon Musk. But this time, he wasn't alone. Mr. Chen sat beside him, along with several other people Maya recognized from news photos, tech executives, restaurant industry leaders, and community organizers. "Hello, Maya," Elon said, standing. "Please join us. It's time you understood what's really been happening." Maya sat down, noticing her mother's grilled cheese recipe framed on the wall. 6 months ago, Elon began, I started a secret project, not about rockets or electric cars, but about something more fundamental: human connection in the digital age. I visited diners across the country, testing how people treat strangers when they think no one is watching. Mr. Chen spoke up. We were all part of it, looking for someone who could lead a new kind of movement. You see, Elon continued, anyone can go viral. Anyone can become famous for a moment. But authentic kindness, the kind that expects nothing in return, that's rare. You didn't just make me a sandwich, Maya. You reminded me why I started all my companies in the first place. To help people. He slid a folder across the table. This diner is yours, if you want it. But it's more than that. We're launching a new initiative, the Kitchen Table Project, a chain of community restaurants that will provide affordable meals, job training, and medical assistance to families in need. Maya opened the folder with trembling hands. Inside was a contract making her chief operating officer of the entire project. The salary was more than enough for Zoe's surgery, but there was something else. Medical bills marked paid in full. Your daughter's surgery is covered, Elon said softly. It was the moment you showed kindness to a stranger in a black t-shirt. The job offers, the media attention, the mysterious messages. They were all tests to see how you'd handle pressure, fame, and competing interests. Mr. Chen smiled. You chose connection over attention, community over corporate ladders. That's exactly what we need. Maya looked around the transformed diner, her diner now. But why all the secrecy, the competing offers? Because true character shows itself when people think no one is watching, Elon explained. The video went viral by design. The job offers were carefully crafted. We needed to see if viral fame would change your fundamental kindness. It didn't. He stood up and walked to the kitchen. Come see this. Maya followed him through the swinging doors. The kitchen had been completely updated with state-of-the-art equipment, but her mother's old recipe cards were proudly displayed on the wall. The Kitchen Table Project will open 50 locations in its first year, Elon explained. Each one will partner with local hospitals to provide assistance to families facing medical crises. Your story, a single mother working multiple jobs to save her daughter, isn't unique. But your response to hardship, your persistent kindness, that's what makes you the perfect person to lead this. Maya touched her mother's recipe cards. My mom always said a warm meal and a kind word could change someone's whole day. Exactly, Mr. Chen said. And now you can help others do the same on a scale you never imagined. The next hour was a blur of introductions and explanations. The project had been in development for months. Maya's viral moment wasn't just luck, it was the final test of dozens of candidates nationwide. As dawn broke, Maya sat in her new office, the former manager's office where she'd been fired just days ago. On her desk sat a framed photo of her and Zoe, taken at the Space Museum last year. Beside it was a small plaque that read, "Sometimes the biggest changes start with a simple grilled cheese sandwich." Her phone buzzed one last time. A message from the hospital. Zoe's awake and asking for you. She says she had a dream that everything was going to be okay. Maya smiled, gathering her things. She had a daughter to hug, a surgery to prepare for, and a new mission to begin. The Kitchen Table Project would change thousands of lives, starting right here in Austin. As she stood to leave, she noticed one last envelope on her desk. Inside was a handwritten note. Maya, your mother's recipe didn't just make a great sandwich. It showed me that in a world of artificial intelligence and viral videos, real human connection still matters most. Welcome to the team. Elon P.S. Zoe mentioned wanting to be an astronaut. SpaceX's Junior Space Camp has an opening this summer. Maya laughed, wiping happy tears from her eyes. Outside, the sun was rising over Austin, and with it, a new chapter was beginning. Not just for her and Zoe, but for every family who would find hope and kindness at a kitchen table. The Kitchen Table Project diner, Miss Chen appeared in her doorway, ready for her first day. Maya picked up her mother's recipe card, smiling at the familiar handwriting. more than ready as she walked through her diner, her community center for hope and healing. Maya thought about that night when a simple act of kindness changed everything. She thought about all the lives that would be touched by the kitchen table project, all the families who would find help and hope here. Sometimes the biggest problems did have the simplest solutions. Sometimes all it took was a grilled cheese sandwich and a kind heart to start a revolution. And somewhere in Austin, a little girl was waking up in a hospital room, not knowing that her mother's kindness had just changed the world, one warm meal at a time. If Maya's story touched your heart today, help us spread kindness by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Just like Maya's grilled cheese changed lives, your simple click can help share these inspiring stories with others who need hope. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments below. Maybe there's a real-life Maya in your community, making a difference through small acts of kindness. Remember, sometimes the biggest changes start with the smallest gestures. Until next time, keep spreading kindness, one story at a time.